The first time the doctor told me how much the surgery would cost, I had to sit down. It wasn't life-threatening, at least not in the medical sense, but for my 6-year-old son Caleb, being blind in one eye was making his whole world smaller. He tripped more, withdrew from other kids, and stopped drawing the thing he loved most. So I did what any mother would. I stopped eating lunch at work. I turned down heating at night. I sold my engagement ring, not that it meant much after my ex-husband bolted, and slowly, I built up a little envelope of cash in the back of my closet. It wasn't much by most people's standards, but to me, it was the difference between my boy living in a fog and him seeing colors clearly for the first time. Please subscribe to our channel and tell us in comments from where are you watching this video. The day it all vanished, I came home from work, cheeks raw from the wind, and found my mom and dad sitting in my living room like they owned the place. My sister Amanda was sprawled across my couch, tapping through Instagram stories with a glossy grin. "You're home late," my mom said without looking up. "I had to pick up an extra shift," I muttered, dropping my bag. "Caleb's surgery date is coming up. I want to make sure, that won't be happening," my dad cut in. His voice was flat, like he was telling me the weather. My stomach tightened. "What do you mean?" Amanda sat up, smirking. "Oh, she hasn't told you yet? Mom and Dad gave me your little stash. I'm going to Dubai next week." It was so casual, so offhand, that for a second I thought she was joking. "You what?" My mom finally looked at me, her eyes hard. "Your sister has been stressed. She needs a break. Son, travel, new experiences. That money wasn't doing anything useful sitting in your closet." "It was for Caleb's surgery," I said, my voice shaking. Amanda laughed, not loud, but the kind that makes you want to slap it off someone's face. "And it's one eye. He's a kid. They bounce back. But me? This trip is a once-in-a-lifetime deal. You'll get over it." I just stared at her, then at my parents, waiting for one of them to realize how insane this was. Instead, my dad shrugged. "She needs Dubai more than your kid needs sight. You've been too dramatic about this whole thing anyway. We're your parents, it's our call." Something inside me went very still. "Your call?" I repeated slowly. "To take my son's future from him, without even asking me?" "That's enough," Mom said, standing up like she was finished with the conversation. "Be grateful Amanda even thought to tell you. We could have just left you wondering." Caleb padded into the room in his socks, rubbing his good eye, and asked if we could have spaghetti for dinner. Amanda groaned at the noise, and my mom ushered him toward the bedroom like he was an inconvenience. I clenched my hands until my nails bit into my palms. I wanted to scream. I wanted to throw them out of my house. But I knew the moment I opened my mouth, they'd turn it into me being ungrateful or selfish. So I swallowed it. I let them think they'd won. Because in that exact moment, as Amanda's laugh grated in my ears and my parents looked at me like I was less than nothing, I realized something. They had no idea what I was capable of when it came to protecting my son. And Dubai? That was about to become the biggest mistake Amanda had ever bragged about. I didn't sleep that night. Not because I was crying, I was far past that. Crying meant you still believed someone might care. I lay in the dark, staring at the ceiling, listening to the soft breathing of Caleb in the next room, and let my mind run through every possible way to make them regret what they'd done. By morning, the plan had started to take shape. Amanda had never worked for anything in her life. She was a luxury on credit kind of person, all designer handbags, spa memberships, and the latest phones. She liked to brag about being well-connected, but really her only connection was to Dad's wallet. Teta and her Dubai trip paid entirely with my son's chance to see clearly. I went through her Instagram that morning before work. Every story, every caption. She'd already posted countdowns, tagged the hotel, and even shared screenshots of the itinerary she'd booked. She wanted everyone to know. But what she didn't know was that her dream trip had a few fragile parts. The flights, the hotel booking, the luxury experiences she'd lined up, desert safaris, private dinners, yacht rentals, all of it had one thing in common. non-refundable but transferable reservations. I didn't need her to lose the money. I needed her to lose what she valued more than money, her image. For the next week, I played the role of the sulking, defeated sister. I didn't mention the surgery. I didn't ask for the money back. I even let Mom drop off Amanda's vacation wardrobe at my house so she could model outfits in front of my full-length mirror. Meanwhile, I started making a few calls, not to Dubai, to people closer to home. See, Amanda had a boyfriend, or, more accurately, a revolving door of men she collected for status. The current one, Ryan, was loaded but famously insecure about other men. And Amanda? She had a habit of keeping backup options. Let's just say I knew exactly which backup was still texting her. By the time Amanda's departure date rolled around, everything was set. I kept my voice light the morning she left, even offering to drive her to the airport. Wow, she smirked, slipping on oversized sunglasses. Look at you being mature for once. Maybe there's hope for you after all. Maybe, I said, opening the car door for her. Have a great trip. What she didn't know was that while she was sipping champagne at 30,000 feet, Ryan would be receiving a little anonymous envelope filled with screenshots, printed messages, and one carefully timed hotel confirmation for a room booked for 2. Not in Dubai. In our hometown. And not with him. I didn't need to watch what happened next to know how it would go. Ryan's ego wouldn't survive it. He'd make sure Amanda came back to a reception she'd never forget. And Mom and Dad? They'd be too busy trying to fix their perfect daughter's image to notice I'd been quietly working on something else for Caleb. Because while Amanda's trip was crumbling, I'd been cashing in favors, pawning more of my old things, and even picking up an under-the-table weekend job cleaning offices. Caleb's surgery fund was growing again slowly, but without a single dollar they could touch. And the best part? The real revenge wasn't even going to happen until Amanda's plane landed back home. Amanda came back from Dubai 3 days earlier than planned, not because she wanted to, because she had nowhere else to go. Ryan had dumped her publicly, not quietly, not over text, but in a spectacular scene at his company's anniversary gala. According to a friend who worked the catering, he stood in front of 100 guests and read her loyalty messages out loud before tossing her suitcase at her feet. And the photos? They were everywhere online by the time she landed. But that was just the appetizer. When I saw her at the baggage claim, she wasn't the glowing bronzed goddess she'd imagined for Instagram. She was pale, shaking, and scanning the crowd for anyone who would take her side. Mom and Dad were there too, tight-lipped and furious, clearly more concerned about the gossip than Amanda herself. We didn't speak on the drive home. I didn't need to. The next morning, I invited them all to brunch at my place. I told them it was to clear the air. They came, expecting some groveling or an attempt to patch things up. Amanda showed up in sweatpants and a hoodie, hiding behind sunglasses indoors. Mom walked in first, looking like she'd aged 10 years. Dad just grunted at me. On the table in front of them was a single envelope. "Go ahead," I said, sliding it toward Dad. Inside was a receipt, not for their bills, not for anything they'd recognize. It was for a fully paid surgery, Caleb's surgery. The date was set for 2 weeks from now. "Where'd you get that kind of money?" Dad demanded. I smiled. "From selling something that was yours." He froze. "You know that vintage car you keep in the garage? The one you said you'd pass down to your real child someday? Turns out, when you leave the spare keys hanging in plain sight, it's really easy to drive it to an auction house." The silence in the room was sharp enough to cut through bone. "You stole from me?" he hissed. I leaned forward. "No. I reclaimed what you stole from my son, and before you called the police, good luck. The car was still in my name from when you gifted it to me years ago to dodge taxes. I just never bothered to tell you." Amanda's mouth opened, then closed again. Mom turned bright red. "You ruined your own daughter's life," Mom spat. I laughed. "No, Mom, she did that herself. You all did. I just stopped letting you ruin mine and my son's." The best part? I had timed it perfectly. At that exact moment, Amanda's phone started blowing up. Ryan had just posted an apology to his followers, not to her, but to Anyone misled by a person who would betray both family and loyalty for a free vacation. He tagged her in every photo. Every one of her friends was sharing it. Amanda ripped off her sunglasses and threw her phone onto the table, but not before I caught the flash of tears in her eyes. "Get out of my house," I said softly. They didn't move at first. Then, one by one, they left. I stood at the window with Caleb, watching them walk to their car, 3 people who had thought they could strip me of dignity, of hope, of my child's chance to see the world clearly. Now they had to walk away, knowing I'd taken something from them they couldn't buy back: control. And for the first time in years, I didn't feel like the one left in the dark. I had given my son his future. And I'd done it without needing a single thing from them ever again. Please subscribe to our channel and tell us in comments from where are you watching this video.